A warm welcome to TBC News, our top stories. Prime Minister underscores media framing on climate change. Tanzania braces for Cyclone Hidaya, 20 regions on the list. Good evening, I am Teddy Mparanyanga. You can also follow us live via YouTube channel TBC Online and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBC Online. The Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Policy, Parliament and Coordination, Jenista Magama, has instructed regional governments in the coastal areas to take precautionary measures, including spreading awareness on Cyclone Hidaya, which is said to be 401 kilometers from the east coast of Mtwara. Minister Jenista gave the directive in the Parliament in Dodoma while updating the Parliament on the cyclone.
The Prime Minister emphasizes that the climate change special desks should seek funds and set up training program for journalists on covering climate change issues professionally. Furthermore, the Prime Minister has instructed the Ministries of Information, Communication and Information Technology and the Ministry of Community Development, Gender, Women and Special Groups to ensure that they complete the second phase of the national plan to eradicate violence against women and children.
Media has a responsibility to promote our country and therefore create a positive image international. As we can see now, our country has a positive image worldwide. The media has also a huge contribution in promoting various government plans, such as areas of investment and tourist attractions.
On the other hand, the Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, Nape Nnauye, says the state of the media freedom in the country has improved compared to how it was before.
Hali ya uhuru wa vyombo vya habari katika nchi yetu inaendelea kuimarika.
Press freedom has improved in the country. We have not reached the highest peak of press freedom. However, we have little moved up the ladder. All this has been made possible due to the leadership of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. We have implemented various strategies, including 4 Rs, and that is how we have managed to achieve this much success.
The meeting was attended by various stakeholders, including the ambassadors of the United States, Switzerland, the representative of the United Nations, UNESCO, civil society, representatives from the Union of 28 Tanzanian press clubs, the Editors Forum, and academicians.
And that was a story about the PM stressing about the media role on climate change. And now let us take a look at the story of the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Policy, Parliament and Coordination, Jenista Magama, who has instructed regional governments in the coastal areas to take precautionary measures, including spreading awareness on Cyclone Hidaya, which is said to be 401 kilometers from the east coast of Mtwara. Minister Jenista gave the directive in the Parliament in Dodoma while updating the Parliament on the cyclone.
Uwepo wa kimbunga Hidaya karibu na pwani ya nchi yetu.
The presence of Cyclone Hidaya that is expected in the country is also expected to affect the weather conditions by causing heavy rains and strong winds in some areas of the regions of Mtwara, Lindi, Mafia Islands, Dar es Salaam, Tanga, Morogoro, as well as Unguja and Pemba. An increase in rain and strong winds accompanied by large waves in the ocean are expected to spread in many areas of the coastal areas towards the 4th to the 6th of this month.
She issues instructions to all institutions responsible for disaster management.
Mbalimbali nchini ikiwemo kamati za usimamizi wa maafa.
I direct all authorities of the mentioned regions to continue to take adequate precautions and to continue to issue warning notices of the Cyclone Hidaya in order to take appropriate actions when it comes to emerge.
The minister has also urged the religious leaders and other Tanzanians to continue praying for the nation to lessen the possible effects that may be triggered by the cyclone. And on to the next story. Minister of Finance Mwigulu Nchemba says Tanzania has received $455.3 million in the first 3 phases of $1.1 billion to implement projects that target to stimulate economic development and enable the country to withstand the economic crisis facing the world. Here are more details.
He made the revelation while opening discussion sessions between the government and a team of experts from the International Monetary Fund who are in the country to make an assessment on Tanzania's possibility to receive funds in the 4th phase through the Extended Credit Facility Program, which will support country's economy through production sectors.
One of the areas in which we have been cooperating in the area that aligns with the government's agenda, which aims to create a better environment for production sectors that provide solutions to Tanzania.
On the other hand, the IMF team leader has congratulated the Tanzanian government for continuing to completely implement the ECF program and fulfilling the criteria set in the program on time and helping the country to secure $455.3.
Tumeendelea kuongelea maeneo ambayo yataiwezesha Tanzania.
We have continued to focus on areas that will make Tanzania qualify for the Climate Change Funds program. We will continue to work with IMF, but after these discussions, we believe we are going to qualify in entering the new Climate Change Funds program.
The discussion is a continuation of the discussion held at the spring meetings held in Washington, D.C., USA, whereby Tanzania submitted an application to be amongst the countries to benefit from IMF's Resilient and Sustainable Trust, RST, window to deal with issues of climate change.
The East African community has been urged to cooperate in the fight against the possible outbreak of infectious diseases that can be triggered following recent heavy rains in some EAC member states. The call has been made by the Minister of Health, Mwalimu, during the 24th ordinary meeting of the East African Community Sectorial Council of Ministers of Health. Marimo Biro has more.
East African community aims at deepening cooperation among the partner member states and other regional economic communities in political, economic and social fields for their mutual benefit. The East African Community Sectoral Council of Ministers of Health holds its 24th ordinary meeting with the aim of discussing the strategies to overcome challenges facing the health sectors within the East African community. The Deputy General of the East African Community, Andrea Arik Mauleth, says the expansion of the East African community has led to more opportunities, especially in the health sector.
We have been working tirelessly to implement the directives of the Sectoral Council, and we have been able to make tangible achievement within available resources, mainly in the following areas. 1, we have developed an updated EAC regional health sector strategy that will guide further our joint intervention until the year 2030, taking into account the emerging and re-emerging health challenges and taking advantage of opportunities that new technologies offer.
General of the East African Community, Andrea Mauleth, and other ministers and health officials of the Sectoral Council from member countries emphasize health protection and cooperation in the fight against the spread of the disease.
I would like to draw our attention to the pressing issues of the ongoing El Nino rains, which significantly increases the risk of disease outbreak in our region, such as diarrhea and malaria. El Nino typically brings heavy rainfall and flooding, creating ideal conditions for disease vectors like mosquitoes and waterborne disease. To address this threat, we must enhance our public health interventions in strengthening preparedness and response. This includes health education, advocates for implementation of WASH intervention, bolstering surveillance system for ill outbreak detection, improving case management to reduce mortality, strengthening vector control to prevent diseases such as malaria and dengue fever.
The region has made tremendous achievements, as you are aware of, in improving the well-being of our population, our citizens' livelihoods, at the same time moving together as a continent.
We must have one approach. So I urge all of us to take keen interest and actively participate
in ongoing process of revision of the International Health Regulations of 2005 and development of the Pandemic Treaty.
From Dar es Salaam, Mariam Mubiru, TBC News.
The Deputy Minister, Prime Minister's Office, Policy, Parliamentary Affairs and Coordination says when science and technology are appropriately used, it may help to reduce the level of effects of natural disasters in Tanzania. She made the remarks when launching the Disaster NGOs Network Tanzania DingoNet, insisting the contribution of NGOs in bringing community development.
We are looking forward to seek the innovative idea from Tanzanians through different platforms like this DingoNet, where they can come up with some solution. The science and technology can help us to come with the solution which can support us to mitigate the causative of the risk in some parts. And I have highlighted that maybe here in Tanzania we have the meteorological way of forecasting. Through the TBC we are giving forecasting which is accurate. Through the science and technology people can get accurate information. Maybe tomorrow there will be flood, tomorrow there will be rainfall, tomorrow there will be a wind, so get prepared. So we are hoping science and technology can take us forward.
Tanzania elaborates further the reasons that led to the establishment of DingoNet in Tanzania.
With so many members, which comes from the background of different professionals. We have doctors, we have specialized from the children, we have developmental organization. All this comes together to help the government. We're just there to help the government in any kind of disaster. We've recently faced the disaster of the Pwani, Kibiti. So many people the house have flushed away. So many farms have been washed away. So us as network, we came together and coordinate how we can help the government.
The Agricultural Development Bank, TADB, says it will raise agricultural loan lending from the current 11% to 30% by 2030. The TADB Bank Acting Director Kanaeli Nko says the state of lending in the agricultural sector is currently not satisfactory due to the lack of sufficient expertise of many loan officers in assessing the risk of agricultural loans.
All the participants to make the use of their acquired knowledge and the expertise in designing innovative product and solution to ensure the agriculture sector, the agriculture sector benefit from the financing from the financial institution. So that's actually what we are trying to achieve by equipping with the certification. Yes, it's the personal use, but it's also another idea to advance credit to the agriculture sector.
This program aims to prepare individuals with prerequisite competencies that are required for improving the agriculture sector through agricultural finance. This is through preparing competent professionals to improve financing linkages between agri-value chains and the actors, financing institutions, and other stakeholders in the industry. The philosophy behind the development of this program aims at producing innovative, creative, and positive-minded individuals in agriculture finance.
However, the bank, in collaboration with the Bank of Tanzania Academy and SU Agricultural College, has started to take the initiative to improve the sector by conducting professional training for agricultural loan officers involving the areas of credit assessment, agribusiness risk management, and agricultural linkage market analysis. And on to the next story, the Executive Director of Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute, JKCI, Dr. Peter Kisenge, says the top leaders from the Ministry of Health of Sierra Leone will be the ambassadors to spread the word on the best medical services in Tanzania. Dr. Kisenge made the remarks after receiving a delegation from the Ministry of Health of Sierra Leone who are in the country to learn and share experiences with local doctors.
Taasisi hizi yetu ya hapa Jakaya Kikwete.
They have learned a lot from our institution, and they had a lot of questions about how we are able to attain all this success. And we elaborated to them how the government has been at the forefront in supporting us.
World Press Freedom Day was proclaimed by the UN General Assembly in December 1993, following the recommendation of UNESCO's General Conference after 30 years. The historic connection made between the freedom to seek, impart, and receive information. Here are more details.
World Press Freedom Day was proclaimed by the UN General Assembly in December 1993, following the recommendation of UNESCO's General Conference. After 30 years, the historic connection made between the freedom to seek, impart, and receive information and the public good remains as relevant as it was at the time of its signing. On 3rd May acts as a reminder to governments of the need to respect their commitment to press freedom. It is also a day of reflection among media professionals about issues of press freedom and professional ethics. In 2024, World Press Freedom Day is dedicated to the importance of journalism and freedom of expression in the context of the current global environmental crisis. Awareness of all aspects of the global environmental crisis and its consequences is essential to build democratic societies. Journalistic work is indispensable for this purpose. Journalists encounter significant challenges in seeking and disseminating information on contemporary issues, such as supply chains problems, climate migration, attractive industries, illegal mining, pollution, poaching, animal trafficking, deforestation, or climate change. Ensuring the visibility of these issues is crucial for promoting peace and democratic values worldwide.
In Tanzania, as we mark World Freedom Press Day, the assistant lecturer of Dar es Salaam Tumaini University Mass Communication Department says the advancement of technology has increased the scope of access to information and has created more employment opportunities for journalists.
We have a lot of environmental crises the world is fighting for, and I think they are believing in media as a tool to channel or to discuss these issues for the improvement of the better future. We have people who are also in journalism, but they're not professional journalists, but they have chances of doing what they are doing, and it's because we have so much platforms to practice that. We have social media, for example, social networks and all that, where it gives much freedom to people either to write what they think they wanted to write. But apart from that, we have journalists who are also doing the great job in the same platforms, where you could distinguish this is a journalist work, this is not a journalist work. And for that matter, I would say the environment, the technology we have invites everybody to express what they want to express. But the good work of a journalist is still there. That the journalistic work has passed through all the qualities, all the gateways, all the checks and balances for the story to come out.
World Press Freedom Day is dedicated to the importance of journalism and freedom of expression in the context of current global environmental crisis. And before we wind up the local news tonight, let us now take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Up next is international news. Here is international news.
William Ruto has directed the Ministry of Education to postpone the reopening of all schools in the country following the flooding crisis occasioned by the ongoing heavy rains. Addressing the nation today, President Ruto says the school reopening date be postponed until further notice, noting that the situation is likely to escalate in the coming days. Schools were initially set for reopening on April the 29th, 2024, but the date was later pushed to May the 6th, 2024, due to disruptions from the heavy rains. Meanwhile, the Kenyan Interior Cabinet Secretary, Professor Kithure Kindiki, has ordered people living in flood-prone areas to vacate the areas today or be forcibly evacuated. The evacuation orders targets those living in landslides and mudslides-prone areas, as well as those residing within the immediate neighborhoods of 178 public and private dams that are approaching or have already filled to capacity. The evacuation order comes as communities likely to be impacted by floods and landslides called on the government to offer them alternative relocation sites. Areas prone to landslides and mudslides in various counties have also been identified as high-risk areas from which the residents in those settlements are being evacuated. Nigeria's military has ordered 2 officers to face court-martial proceedings over a drone strike that killed at least 85 in Kaduna in December the 3rd, 2023. The Nigerian Ministry of Defense spokesperson, Major General Edward Buba, says the findings of an investigation of the strike in a village in northern Kaduna showed that it should never have happened. December the 3rd last year, a strike was one of the deadliest to hit civilians as the Nigerian military increasingly relies on aerial assaults in fighting Islamic militants in the northeast and armed kidnapping gangs in the northwest. Major General Edward Buba added that the military has conducted a painstaking investigation into the incidents and has initiated disciplinary action against those culpable. The military says it wrongly took the religious gatherings of villages in Kaduna as that of armed criminal gangs and apologized for the error. Turkey has suspended all trade with Israel over its offensive in Gaza, citing the worsening humanitarian tragedy in the Strip. The Turkish Trade Ministry said the measures would be in place until Israel allowed uninterrupted and sufficient flow of aid into Gaza. Trade between the two countries was worth $7 billion last year. Israel's foreign minister accused Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of acting like a dictator for disregarding the interests of the Turkish people and businessmen and ignoring international trade agreements. He added that he had instructed the foreign ministry to find alternatives for trade with Turkey, with a focus on local production and imports from other countries. Turkey will strictly and conclusively implement those new measures until the Israeli government allows uninterrupted and sufficient flow of humanitarian aid to Gaza.
That was international news read by Kanki Magomole. Sport news up next. New Simba Sports Club caretaker coach Juma Mugunda believes that 2-0 win against Mtibwa Sugar has uplifted their chance to finish second in Tanzania Premier League, which is crucial for Africa Interclub competition qualification next season. Speaking after the match at Chamazi Complex Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Coach Mugunda insists that the win will bring back confidence to the players.
You know, football is a game of mistakes. When you finish one match, you look at the good things to make them better and reduce the shortcomings and eliminate them completely for the benefit of upcoming games.
Simba is 4 points behind Azam FC in a second place of Tanzania Premier League table as they lack horns in a decisive game at Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in May 9th. And on to the next sports news. Coordinator of Tulia Marathon, Leonard Munika, believes that the marathon has contributed to the development of athletes in the country. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Munika adds that some of the athletes are doing well in the local and international competitions and as a result of the Tulia Marathon.
Tumedhamiria kwa nguvu zote kuifanya Mbeya Tulia Marathon
We are determined with all our strength to make the marathon one of the biggest marathons in the country, because we did that last year by bringing Gabriel Gayai. Now is the time for Mbeya.
It's time for Tanzanians to turn their ears and eyes to this marathon. We are going to do something that has never happened before.
Tulia Marathon is scheduled to take place on the 10th and 11th of May in Mbeya, involving local and international athletes. That was sports news, and now before we conclude the news bulletin, let's take a look at the weather update for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours weather forecast starting at 9 p.m. tonight. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Desderi Moses. Rainfall models are showing the presence of tropical cyclone Hidaya over the Indian Ocean. And this tropical cyclone is approximated to be at a distance of 342 kilometers away from the coastline of Mtwara region. And due to the presence of this tropical cyclone Hidaya, Tanzania Meteorological Authority has issued a warning of heavy rains over some areas along the coast regions and periods of strong winds and large ocean waves over the entire coastal areas. And therefore, wind is expected to flow at a speed of 60 km per hour for the entire coastal regions. And the state of the sea is expected to be rough. People living in those areas are advised to take necessary precautions. And the tropical cyclone Hidaya is still moving towards the coastline of our Indian Ocean. And tomorrow it is our expectation that Lindi and Mtwara region will feature cloudy condition, thunder showers over most areas and short sunny period, while Tanga region, Unguja and Pemba Isles, Dar es Salaam, Pwani region together with Morogoro region will feature cloud condition, thunder showers over few areas and short sunny periods. Lake Victoria Basin, Kigoma together with Songea region will feature particle condition, thunder showers over few areas and sunny periods. Northeastern highlands are expected to feature particle condition, rain showers over few areas and sunny periods. And the rest part of the country is expected to be mainly dry. And now let's have the focus for the next days of some regions of our country. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, thanks for watching us. Until next time, good night. Good night.
And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. On behalf of the whole team, I am Teddy Mpanyanga. Have a lovely, lovely night.
TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.
Tanzania ni miongoni mwa nchi zinazoathiriwa na mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Athari za mabadiliko ya tabia nchi zinaonekana katika sekta mbalimbali za uzalishaji nchini, ikiwemo sekta za kilimo, mifugo, maji, nishati, mali asili, miundombinu na usafirishaji. Athari hizi ni pamoja na matukio ya ukame, mafuriko, maporomoko ya udongo, ongezeko la joto, kuibuka kwa milipuko ya magonjwa ya mazao, mifugo na binadamu na kuwepo kwa viumbe vamizi. Jamii maskini hasa za vijijini huathiriwa zaidi na mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Katika kukabiliana na athari za mabadiliko ya tabia nchi, serikali kupitia ofisi ya makamu wa rais inaratibu utekelezaji wa mradi wa kuhimili mabadiliko ya tabia nchi kwa kutumia mifumo ekolojia vijijini ambao unajulikana kwa kifupisho EBA. Mradi huu umetekelezwa kati ya mwaka 2018-2019 hadi mwaka 2024. Mradi umefadhiliwa na mfuko wa mazingira duniani, yani Global Environment Facility, GEF, kupitia programu ya mazingira ya Umoja wa Mataifa, UNEP. Lengo la mradi ni kuongeza uwezo wa kuhimili mabadiliko ya tabia nchi katika jamii za vijijini kwa kuimarisha mifumo ekolojia na shughuli mbadala za kujiongezea kipato. Mradi umetekelezwa katika mikoa 4 ya Tanzania bara na mkoa mmoja Tanzania visiwani. Wilaya hizo na mikoa yake ni wilaya ya Simanjiro mkoani Manyara, wilaya ya Kishapu mkoani Shinyanga, wilaya ya Mvomero mkoani Morogoro, wilaya ya Mpwapwa mkoa wa Dodoma na wilaya ya Kaskazini Unguja. Tangu kuanza kwa mradi, mafanikio katika utekelezaji yameonekana katika maeneo yote ya mradi na kuna mengi ya kujifunza, hasa kwa wanawake ambao wameshiriki kutekeleza mradi huu, wao wakiwa ni waathirika wakubwa wa mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Huko mkoani Shinyanga katika wilaya ya Kishapu, jamii imejitokeza kwa wingi kutekeleza mradi, na hapa wanatupatia ushuhuda na maelekezo ya kina ya jinsi mradi wa EBA ulivyobadilisha maisha yao.
Halmashauri yetu ya Kishapu ni miongoni mwa halmashauri ambazo zinatekeleza mradi wa EBA tangu mwaka 2019. Kwenye mradi tumetekeleza shughuli mbalimbali. Tumeweza kufanikiwa kuchimba marambo 4 katika vijiji 4 vya